Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is another scene for the Changeling venue. It's me again. And we've just gotten back from an apprehension, and Valeris has sent missives to talk to Count Prospero of House Ilunid to talk. He's invited him to his barony and into his freehold to talk. And just it's been a while, and it's it would be nice to touch bases and see what's happening on his end and see if there can be any information gathering. Just a nice social call. Um, when Prospero gets there, it's a bustling town. But once you get towards the palace, as it were, it has like this Roman Greek feel. A lot of it is open. A lot of the freehold is open, and you can see chimerical leaves and sunlight kind of wisping through the corridors, and you'll see Valerius off to the side and looking a little distracted at the moment as he's looks like he's filling out paperwork, and he will notice you and stop and bow deeply.
Prospero will travel with a light retinue. Castellan won't be too seen at all, so it'll be one or two, a personal maid and somebody stout of heart, both Bunny Puka,
Hmm.
and but Prospero will be sort of hooded and cloaked, but he will travel with the finest sort of silk clothes that he's wearing. But he won't expose that until he's in the relative safety of your court.
Hmm.
Observing all the etiquette, one of his people will go to talk to one of your people to let you know that the the count is here and requires no clemency or ceremony, just wishes to catch up as old friends.
Valerius will smile and just a sigh of relief, like this is a good turn of events. in the political climate and somebody actually following protocol and not just walking into his house like they owned it. So Valerius will smile and just say he'll let his satyr, a young satyr will come out and relay the information, and there's um a large area where he's meet basically an overflow area where Valerius is there waiting.
The Prospero's staff will stand to and disallow Prospero himself to enter,
Mm.
bearing what appears to be a very interesting looking bottle, almost as if it was carved in soapstone, and it's got sort of elaborate curves and shapes on it, and it's a fine liqueur that has been brought from Prospero's own house. He's acquired it through in the town, and
Mm.
it's something that he would normally have on his table. And he thought, but maybe it'd be something to bring as a welcoming gift to say hello and thank you for receiving me. Prospero will bow, uh, not as deep as Valerius when he arrives.
Valerius noticing the bottle. Ah, it's good to see you. How have you been?
Things have been busy of late, and it is good to see you again, Baron. How goes the days of your court and the days of your life?
The current running of this barony and my aspirations of becoming the new regent have occupied much of my time, but it's nice to chat with old friends and just take a moment to rest and relax.
It is it is a social call that I'm glad that your missive arrives. And then congratulations on your appointment. It is
Uh,
good tidings.
Well, the running is still taking place, but as soon as a decision is made, probably within the, depending on when the next court is held, we'll see who the new regent is. I believe all the candidates show incredible promise. How goes your missive?
I have acquired some materials as payment for that has been bequeathed to me by your friends. A very interesting shopping list, I must admit, but they were relatively straightforward to come by. Interesting enough, the title of Count does unlock many doors when it comes to buying things that people that should not normally be bought.
So they just, forgive me for being frank, they just showed up and said, "Pay me things." It's not.
Um, well, I treat as you requested, and upon my good graces, I treated them as your friend and as friends, and accorded them due respect. I hope that they will complete their mission before long.
I hope so as well. If they're not sidetracked by something else.
Uh, Fickle nature of the she, also of the changelings, and I although I wish perhaps some speed to their quest, I cannot say wrong to them for getting distracted by pretty or shiny things.
I will deliver the missive that Count Prospero is waited with bated breath about your return.
Well, the missive itself. Let us hope that it finds itself safely to him. But let's perhaps we should take a seat and enjoy some of this liqueur. I've carried it some distance, and the temptation was to uncork it prior to arriving and drink some.
Valeris will make a clap, and a Bakken will come out with a tray with glasses and place it down on the table. Valeris will nod, and she will walk over, barring your permission, and begin serving me and
Oh, absolutely.
you.
I'll take a seat and I'll sort of flick my robes over the seat so it makes a nice little comfortable sort of cushion for me.
Mhm.
And I shall most happily welcome this glass of ambrosia as is delivered.
Fair enough.
Things are moving very fast in our realm, it seems. Seems to be a great
Very
deal of
fast,
things are changing.
indeed.
And I assume that you were there or listened to the statements made by the contenders for the throne, contenders for regency.
Yes. Our dear Princess Lenore is a very vibrant one, isn't she?
She does appear to have much passion that governs her. Well, it governs her actions, her passion.
And warms my heart. Such a, if she would be elected, I think this kingdom would be in for a very interesting turn of events.
May we live in interesting times, I believe is a proverb. I'm not too sure if that's a threat or not.
No, 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 just me being a Fiona and making light of the situation. You know how it
Hmm,
is.
I do. I understand greatly. There's other movements as well, political shiftings. I heard of the issues that some of the commoners had brought to your table, I believe. Very, very rude of them, to be so blunt.
Well, this is the policy, and the commoners should be well at ease to try and talk to me, but some etiquette would just do a lot of people some good. But as it were, they are my subjects, and the situation has been handled.
It is. I'm happy to hear that. And how are things with the lovely Baroness?
She's well. We're expecting children come the fall.
Good grief, things are moving quickly.
We- a young she and a Selkie, it seems. Both gentlemen. I'm most ecstatic.
Cementing our relations with the Selkie court and strengthening ties between us.
It's a very good turn of events. They are, according to the seer, they are developing nicely. It will be. Here tells that the dreaming is smiling on them, as she said, and I am most grateful, happy.
And what of the other peers at court? How are the nobles taking your relations with the Selkie?
Mm, as best is to be expected. It seems that most assume she's a puka, but I suppose the politeness and all the necessities are where they're supposed to be, so not much fault has been taken.
It is good to hear. And I would say the more political that you become in your aspirations, the more that you attract heat for that specific issue. I imagine it won't be very long before some full noble starts calling the Baroness's lineage into account, stating that she is a Puka and not a Selkie. And yeah,
Well,
that's silliness.
I believe it's our duty to um, politely correct those who would say such things in public eye. I think we've all been there and learned that lesson rather harshly. Speaking of which, a visitor from Countess, I believe, von Helsberg. Um, while we were on a hunt, she attacked one of me and my retina. It's quite peculiar. She sicked her animals, as it were. She claims that she was spurred on by the heat of the moment, and yes, well, we live in interesting times, as you said.
Hmm.
But
Very.
I'm happy the Gwydians were able to correct the slight and due punishment was carried out, and that my ward is well and safe.
That is most fortunate, and it's interesting that someone of so noble a station would do something like that.
I was quite. I assumed that most counts held themselves in high regard, such as yourself, but apparently that isn't the case.
Hmm. You honour me too much, I think. We
Oh,
all have our fallacies. Yet, if there was no motive for that attack, and it was the heat of the moment, then there's clearly something going on there.
I'm sure.
Have you attracted heat from another source, perhaps, or some other aspiration, or some political commentary that you've made, which has now, well, put people's noses out? I did hear or a little bird told me something along the lines of some stuffy old she who's setting his ways that you decided to correct in his attitude.
Oh, well, as we can see that Valeris will laugh like, well, it seems not much escapes your ear. It seems that the older gentleman had some very interesting words for my beloved wife, and she was more than ready to correct him. And yes, well,
Excellent. And it is. It was a topic of conversation amongst the old guard. The old fogies tend to stick together, And whilst we were all sitting around smoking cigars and drinking the finest of wines on leather chairs and enjoying talks about pheasant hunting and bullshit like this,
Mhm.
we end up having these conversations.
Well, I found it quite amusing just watching them carry on, but as it were, the good Baron Hendricks wanted us to quickly depart
Mm,
and bid us farewell. It's for good reason. It seems that enough has been said, and he was very much stuck in his ways, believing that my dear wife was less than, as it were. Um, so it's best that we just leave as polite disagreements before anything else was said.
that's most wise. Uh, my advice in this regards would be there are many different power plays available that you will encounter if you should you be successful at your regency appointment. And the old guard, the Shi that have been around for some time who are set in their ways are a powerful group. And by association, things that your good lady wife will say will be an extension of your own politics as well. And it may very well be that her own independence and her own interpretation of events and her opinions becomes your policy.
Mhm.
And then you would find yourself in a situation where a political group like that will not be as helpful as they should be to someone as your station.
Me and the good Baroness had many a discussion, and she is learning, but it's such a thing too. It's a testament to her love for me that she accepts her new appointment with open arms and is willing to listen to my counsel. And from where she started and where she is now, she does me proud. I'm quite happy.
Mm. We all have our parts to play in this game of chess, should I say, maybe. But it's good.
Yes. So how are the negotiations with House Islandhead? It seems that nothing positive has been said and messy business with the Countess.
Uh, as all things, the house tries to become unified and offer a positive front on all sides. But a lot of the nobles of the house are trying to disassociate themselves with Duke Gael
Mm,
and the actions of its members, and in doing so are probably hurting each other and hurting the solidarity of the house. But I'm sure once this trial is out of the way and things are made, people are made accountable for their actions, then maybe the house will reunify again.
most unfortunate. Is there going to be a public address from the house as a whole? I was talking to my mother and father not too long ago, and they were it's a topic of discussion that we found it most interesting that no public announcement came from the house concerning these unfortunate wayward members of your family.
Well, as I alluded to previously, if the nobles, the contenders that could possibly make such a statement and have the authority to do so, but busy being introverted, protecting their own assets, it would require support from other nobles, and that means extending olive branches to people that you do not trust or have their own agenda. I think it's going to be some time before they make a public statement, unless you'll receive about 3 or 4 different apologies from different nobles of the house, all apologising for the same thing, but all saying it in their own way and using it as springboards for their own political ideologies, should we say?
Fair enough.
Most Most troublesome, most uninteresting.
Mm. Yeah, so it's actually, now we're on the subject. It might be something that can be used to bolster a good name for House Illuminate, since not much has been said about them in the positive light. The attacks of the Nervosa have successfully become less of a thing, thanks to the efforts of myself and Princess Lenore. We were able to introduce a mass musing, and we were able to put forth positive energies of hope into the area, and we were able to strike back at the Nervosa, but there's still the larger proximity of Nervosa at Mercy Hospital. Perhaps I am not quite a sorcerer, but I do know my way around certain avenues.
Hmm.
But perhaps a more seasoned hand would be more appreciated with this matter. Whatever insight you could give would be most appreciated.
Well, I know I do not know what has happened in the grey world. I hear things of a. I do hear news regards to that, but I'll see what I can find out and provide you. But yes, many changes, many things, many concerns.
There is to be a battle, and I've been invited to the War Council's, the upcoming War Council that's happening soon. Perhaps whatever information I can receive, I can speak to you and see if you can shed some insight. Perhaps give us a tactical advantage.
And I will see what I can do. It does appear that you're most fortunate to have. Well, I'll say the circumstances are perhaps the most are bad, but it looks like your services to the crown is needed once more upon the battlefield.
So it
This,
seems.
hmm, if you secure this victory, then you will have, I think, an edge on your other contenders for the regency.
Uh, it's one of those things where I do it not for my own political aspirations, but more so for what needs to be done for the kingdom. It would be much more able or smarter, in my opinion, if I was more concerned with more personal matters. Being a baron of my station, all that I've acquired is not a small feat, being that I've only
Hmm.
just now begun, you know.
There is an excellent political opportunity here with your services and again your victory. I'm most assured, I imagine, against the Nervosa at this place, this hospital that you speak of. Perhaps an elevation in nobility would be something that you could ask of the Queen in contendant or who you are supporting currently. This is very, very strong position for you to be in, and you could line yourself up with both earning a higher title, in which you wouldn't have to bow so low to me, perhaps, and and the hearts and minds of the people again when it comes to your appointment.
I agree. Perhaps something can be done in that avenue. But yes, as you say, quite true that I am in a very strong position right now.
Hmm. And what of the Adhene?
The Adhene. Valerius starts speaking in Adhene, and then he'll stop himself. It's like, you don't understand me, do you? I apologize. It's one of the many necessities. It seems that the Adhen are trying to acclimate themselves into the society.
Do you want to just make a quick perception plus empathy roll there?
Hmm.
I'll need to roll myself. Where's my character sheet gone? Dee.
Perception plus empathy for me or for you?
For you.
Okay. One success. Stupid ones.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. That was there was no there was nothing you picked up on there. Just wondering if you're going to pick up on something when you start speaking in a Heen, but never mind. Sorry, what did you say? You spoke in a tongue that is unfamiliar to me.
It was part of our back when the war was happening. It was part of our training, and I was fortunate enough to be able to pick up the language of the Adhen. So a lot of my insights have been particularly prudent in our conquests thus far, and the reacclimation of the Idheen, because quite certainly we can't go back to the way things used to be. Things are ever changing.
Hmm.
It seems that a lot of the a lot of the propositions that Morwen has propositioned, parceling off a position of land, as she said, would be very detrimental, knowing that, quite frankly, if you should, just free advice for you, my count, that if you should see it here, that maybe doing away with some of your things located or your livestock on your floor. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. It seems my connection just went out and went in again. I apologize, folks. Will, are you here?
Hello.
Hello?
Okay.
Did you just get disconnected
To
too?
fall off. Yes, with a message stating that the issue is with the server, but it seems to be back on and still showing as live, so we'll continue.
Alright,
There's hope.
let's hope. So Valer, what's alright, Theodine? So your commoners should be well advised to make sure they mark their property, and so that the Adhen will not make away with their livestock, putting a harm on your total income and revenue towards your freehold and the amount of income you produce. Just a few word of advice.
I'm much appreciated, and hopefully it'll go a long way. The there are a mass of people that are defeated, and now we're trying to find a place for them without interfering with our own sort of economy and our own lands and our own titles and our own positions. And they have now no purpose. So we shall see how long before we have to use old measures to contain these people. I think the word was concentration camps back in the day.
Yes. So you feel that a joint union would not be in the best interest of the kingdom?
Well, let me say this. It might be better for us to find a purpose for our new neighbours rather than just simply existing on their land. I heard some tale from the Gwydians that were keeping the prisoners of war in the castle of Taranar, that they were always talking about their home was destroyed and they were disenfranchised people, but they're mostly nomadic. And placing them in one location is going to be completely counter to what they are used to. But if rumour has it that they are the best guides for the deep dreaming, then maybe they should be tasked to do something like that.
That is a very interesting proposition. Perhaps seeking out new freeholds in the near and the far dreaming might be a new avenue.
It would be an interesting sort of task for them as a people to do, and those of whom their organisation that find these freeholds and take care of the setting up and arrangements there, perhaps they should be honoured with titles from our court and recognised as such. There's tale of this told a long time ago when the Normans' conquest of England, rather than taking the country of Wales and fighting for every scrap of land, they offered baronies to those Welsh nobles that already existed, incorporated them in their own political structure, gave them a hand up or a leg up, and allowed them to self-govern. However, they always knew that they were a satellite of the sort of Norman conquerors, and it did a great deal towards stability and peaceful conflict rather than fighting over every scrap.
Quite agree. However, just more free advice, it seems that the Athene are extremely nomadic and that there are more, I believe the word is tribes of them, that may be of on different accords. So it's a very interesting situation, quite a task for whoever decides to become, whoever is elected as the new regent. Be it myself, be it Morwen, be it Lenore, or perhaps another contender.
Well, from reading between the lines, I believe one of the other contenders would find a military solution to this issue.
That would be most regrettable. It seems that plunging our kingdom into another war just so quickly after another one is ended, and not dealing with the current apprehension of the commoners that's popping up, and dare I say the commoner army, that wouldn't be the most wisest of decisions.
I have done some cursory investigations into the Commoner Army, and as I said, somebody with an army behind them can be very political. Now, said in Roman times. Now, as it stands, from what I've heard, that you have two main people, two main leaders of the Commoner Army.
Indeed.
One called Nathan, and the other one called Rick. Now, both of those sound like strong people and valiant people to rally and to keep the Commoner Army in order. What we don't want right now is to have a singular person leading that army who has strength, charisma, and will, and an axe to grind of some description, becoming a political force, but with an army of the commons behind them. This will lead to civil war. But thankfully, this won't happen, as there are two great leaders of that army, and yourself, of course, Baron, to at least perhaps touch the hearts and minds with your victories that you had with the army against the Adhene initially.
I do believe, since word has traveled, I heard one of my servants talk that one of the commanders might be dead. This is most troubling. There may be something else. More investigation, of course, will be needed, but this is most troubling. Most troubling indeed.
Prospero will look down at his glass, and he'll run his finger along the circle of grass, and as in lost in thought for one moment. He'll still look down, but his eyes will flick up towards the Baron. This is going to be a very dangerous thing. You now, let me guess, the death of one of the commanders in mysterious circumstances?
Most mysterious. It seems that not most of the commoners wish to talk about it.
And the other leader of the commoner army, have they become more vocal now, calling for unity and strength?
There was one such performance of someone biting out a heart in a very public gathering. So I believe there are lots of whispers of very interesting things happening. So yes, I would say your assessment would be correct.
Baron, do you have people within your organization that you can trust to watch this unfold? Because I'm expecting to see something change in the commoner army soon.
There's quite a few.
Maybe it might be a good idea to set them to task to keep an eye on this, or find a way of regaining strength and confidence with their commoners to at least have more than one voice in that army. An army with one voice and a charismatic person behind it is going to be dangerous now.
Indeed. Quite right. Quite dangerous times we live in.
I don't think that this is going to end well unless it can be stopped beforehand. And I think that this organization of this commoner army as it stands will disappear very rapidly. And before long there will be claims being made upon the regent and the queen with an army of, well, massively outnumbering the nobles and their retinues, sitting on their own doorstep.
I see. But on some more cheerful information, do you plan on attending next court?
I will be there.
It seems that quite a few new faces are popping up in politics. I hear of a new Baroness Gwydion. Most interesting to see what they bring to the table.
Strength, unity, and hope, I hope.
It would be my hope. And there's quite a few new faces, but I've been a little preoccupied. It seems that I've been slacking on my duties a bit. Seems that I have to rub elbows a little bit more, sit in on a little bit more formal functions, and see who is about.
That is by the by. Baron, let me be frank. I trust that you will do well in this appointment, and I trust that you will score another victory for us.
Mm.
However, I have made an oath a long time ago to preserve King David's kingdom
Mm.
from all threats, and I would very much like this issue with the Commoner army and the mysterious death of one of its leaders to be one of the priorities before all else, lest I have to get involved personally.
Mm.
And I hope that, even though I have no right of succession apart from my title
Mm.
to order you to do anything, I would strongly request that you do look into it. And again, calling from a house which has now been disgraced, then I have no political leverage at all to make this request of you. But this issue must be dealt with before it becomes an issue where we're fighting for our lives against commoners that have been turned against us by one person. And I don't want to have to get involved in that prior to hand because I don't like creating martyrs. But it's necessary for the stability of this kingdom to have one more death in order to preserve peace. Then it must be done, and I don't want to do that.
I see your point. I'll see what I can do.
You have strong friends, capable, and they have fought with you before, I surmise, and they are capable and helped you win your victories.
Indeed.
And now, this is something perhaps that is going to be difficult for you to ask of them, because what, in short, I'm saying is the people that are involved in this new political front will need to be watched and possibly dealt with.
Valerius's face gets very stern and he says, "Understood."
Now, as you say, on to more nicer things.
Indeed.
So, are you going to have a celebration for? I take it have you had a party yet for the good tidings of your two children that will be with us this fall?
Ah,
Did I
no,
miss that one?
no, that one indeed hasn't happened, but a time for a celebration of new life would be a grand new thing. Perhaps, if you'd be willing, just to show that how Sudden it is behind new growth and new prosperity, that you would work with me to throw a nice gala for everyone. Open some doors and allow, say, the commerce to see that we are very much so approachable, that we are not hiding behind the ivory tower, as it were.
Hmm. I will do what I can, and I may go one step further. If you require or need to help smooth feathers with your commoners, then I have lands that are available for the Adene to settle on. as well. My freehold as it stands does not make its coin from farming.
Ah,
So it may be we have many lush green fields and vineyards that the Adhedan will find some solace there. And if it takes pressure off your farms and your commoners, then that I think perhaps will be a worthy compromise.
hmm. I will speak with my seneschal to see what the current predicament is, if they are even still there. And I'll get back to you as soon as I know.
I am just a letter away as it is. I'm always happy to entertain your charming friends.
Yes, it would be ill-suited for me to, um, not to least grace you with a gift, as Valerius will clap his hands and, um, a parcel will come out. Valerius will take it from the body and then hand it to you. Spider silk robe.
You honour me much. My little thing fell off. Prospero will take the robes, the wrapped up package. He won't expect them as is yet, but he'll call his own person over,
Mm-hmm.
and you will hear him say to the Prospero he's with, the retinue he's with, treat them with reverence and due care, and take them back to my homestead. The bunny puka will nod and will scuttle off.
Mm-hmm.
I thank you for this honour and the gift that you've given me there, Baron, and forgive darkening the mood previously. I will do what I can as a member of a house that has been disgraced to support you in your endeavours. And if you require my assistance, then I will give it. Perhaps I will offer a standing. I'll make this an offer for you. Should the pressures of politics become too much, or you do require a break, then the Poet's Tower, the rooms within, and the image of the Grey Havens, something which your wife was familiar with, will always be available for you. You are always welcome.
You honor me in the halls of Crutchley, should you wish to come to sit and talk and study. They're open to you as well.
Thank you very much. I think we're okay to end the scene here, don't you?
Yep.
Do you want to do an outro for us as we sit here and dine and drink?
As the Baron and Count Prospero sit and talk of many things, the day goes on well into the evening as seems the wine has gone to the both of them. The Baron will bid adieu to the good Count, bowing deeply, and we will end our scene there.